of action is the best course of action is to repeal the changes that were made when there was no devolution settlement. Although there is a prospect of a further legal challenge to this, actually, and certainly one I would support very strongly, given that all the things I said earlier about the original 1998 Act, which established the devolution settlement, about the fact that this has been described again today by a committee of this Parliament as being unprecedented. The basis on which the Parliament, the Assembly was reassembled, and the legal underpinning of that. So I do think that this is highly questionable, what we're doing today, and I would certainly recommend the government thinks again about it. The Minister has said that, well, Northern Ireland has some opportunity to interpret these regulations, to come forward with their own settlement, if you like, which stays within the law in the my right honourable friend's terms, but which doesn't go as far as some would want, and clearly the people of Northern Ireland don't want to go. And that's true. It is true that Northern Ireland could come forward with a settlement. But these regulations are effectively a gun to the head, aren't they, of people in Northern Ireland. So essentially they're saying you either do what we want by your own decision, or we'll decide for you. So it's a slightly... I hesitate to say anything critical of this Minister, because I've already said, Mr Hosey, that I regard him highly. But it's a slightly deceptive, I think is the best way of putting it, a deceptive arrangement to suggest that Northern Ireland can sort this out themselves when they have this gun placed against their heads. It's not for nothing that many people in Northern Ireland are very proud of the 100,000 report, which shows and was confirmed by the Statistics Standards Authority, and that probably 100,000 people are alive in Northern Ireland today who would not be had the province embraced the 1967 Abortion Act. Moreover, if we're going to talk about the sovereignty of Parliament, we must remember that a key part of that is that no Parliament can bind the hand of its successors. Section 9 was passed in a bill, the introduction of which defines its content, the purpose in terms of the restoration of the executive. But that was in a previous Parliament, and it could have been, it would have been, it should have been this government's course of action to say that that was then and now is now. A different Parliament with a different set of arrangements in Northern Ireland necessitated a different approach. That wouldn't have been unreasonable, given what I said about the need to maintain the integrity of devolution. So, rather than asking Parliament to pass these regulations, the government should recognise the current reality and instead ask our new Parliament to welcome the Restoration Assembly and to repeal Section 9, as I said, in response to my right honourable friend. In making that point, I would say to the advocates of abortion, that would be a debate to have across this House, but more especially in Northern Ireland. You know, if those who want to see abortion more widely available in Northern Ireland make their case and persuade their elected representatives to share that view, then of course they can. We live, after all, in a democratic kingdom where majority views prevail. So I think it's important to, in conclusion, Mr Hosey, to say that this bill is, of course, these regulations are, of course, about abortion and its availability in the province. But they're about something much more than that. They're about how much we value devolved decision-making, how much we respect the different opinions that prevail in different parts of this kingdom, how much we really believe that the sovereignty of this Parliament is enhanced when we're big enough to say that people in different elements, parts of this kingdom can come to different conclusions from the majority view here. Do we care so little about the distinct regional identities of our union, unless we get exactly the same approach to abortion in Northern Ireland as the rest of the United Kingdom? We will extinguish their opinions. We will eliminate the majority view there. Are we only to honour devolution when those to whom we give power agree with us? Will the government be content to build its future on past mistakes? Is this an administration that listens, or is it one that dictates? To misunderstand the salience of those questions, or the significance of the answers, would be amongst the worst political miscalculations of any Conservative government since the Union began in 1707. And as we sit under the gaze of Joseph... Oh, well, before I come to my exciting conclusion, of course, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said. The Act of Union didn't apply to Ireland in 1707. It was an Act of Union with Scotland.
Yeah.
Just to correct it.
That is true, but I didn't claim otherwise. I said it was one of the biggest mistakes since then. And as we sit under the gaze of Joseph Chamberlain on the wall there, the radical who in the end became allied to the Conservative government and who always put conviction above convenience. Perhaps we should today, as members of this committee, put principle, put conviction rather than convenience first, and think again about these regulations. I invite certainly the Conservatives on this committee, and I hope members across it, to oppose these regulations, because it would send a signal to government to think again, to listen, to redraw up its plans, and to move ahead in a way that both maintains our union, respects devolution, and shows that rather than ploughing ahead regardless, this is a government that is sensitive to the wishes and interests of the people of every part of the United Kingdom.